Welcome to another edition of Manitoba Music Makers. I'm Frank McGuire, your host with the most local music to put on your television and then some. We cover every genre of music that's played here in Brandon and around Westman. You might have a country artist, you might have a roots artist, could be a rock band, could be a punk band, could be a metal band. We've had them all on Manitoba Music Makers, and today I'm very happy to introduce our next guest, who we've been kind of trying to schedule this for the last little while, and there's been a few hiccups along the way because we've both had other things on the go, and he's been busy with recording stuff, and well, he's probably been rehearsing with his other band and lots on the go. But today is the day we're making it happen for you. Please welcome to Triple M today, Mike Lamb.
Hello.
Mike, thanks for coming on the show. It's been a long time in the making, and I'm glad we can finally have a little chit-chat here, hear some tunes you've been working on, and I want to first thank you for your time today.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, Franco.
Yeah.
It's a good outlet to support local music, so I'm happy to join you today.
That's right. Yeah. Very good. You know, we have canned questions, but I always find the best interview is just a conversation.
Yeah.
Musician to musician, you know, you've been in the scene quite a few years now. I was going to start with like a corny question. When was the first time you picked up your guitar, Mike? When did you first think did it speak to you? Did you say, you know, were you a young kid and you went, I want to touch that thing and see what I can get out of it? What was it?
So it was about 14 years old. I grew up in a very musical household. Like, mom always loved music, dad too. But I grew up playing like piano lessons at 5 years old. The Music for Young Children program was around at the time. And so that was always fun. I always liked music. And then it was around 13, 14 years old, you start exploring and finding the rock music and stuff.
Going through your parents' collection.
Exactly. The ELOs and the Led Zeppelins. And Mom had a really old classical guitar. So the old nylon strings. And that was the very first guitar I ever picked up. And that was the gateway, if you will. So once I had that, it was kind of game over at about 13. So.
Okay, so you've been playing. Now, did you take formal lessons? Did you play by ear? How did you start?
So I took lessons for 1 year, and it was a great teacher. His name was Mark McEwing, and then he moved away. But it was kind of perfect, actually, because the 1 year was just that perfect, here's what I need to get started. And then afterwards, I can take the ball and run with it on your own. So I kind of like that accidental format, actually, of having the 1 year of lessons, but then here you go. So yeah, 1 year and then on my own.
There you go. So apart from the song that Mark would have got you to learn, I don't know what that process was like. The teacher might have said, hey, what do you like to listen to?
Yeah.
Take this tab home and learn this or whatever. But there might have been a song prior to your lessons that you learned because you were playing the guitar before you took formal lessons.
Yeah.
Can you remember the song? Or?
Well, I do remember, like, when I talked about grabbing that classical guitar, and I think I'd, on the radio the same day, heard Come As You Are by Nirvana. And I like that little, I was like, I could probably do that. Like, that doesn't sound too hard, and it's all within this tiny little space on the guitar that it happens. So
there you go.
That, I was thinking about it the other day, was the very
Not
first
only are we getting an interview with Mike Lamb, we're getting a little bit of a lesson on how you can cover the main riff of Come As You Are
there you go.
by Nirvana. And go.
00120.
I knew it was going to be a fun one with you, Mike.
Absolutely, man.
First band. We'll go from first song to first band you were in. Maybe let's start with this. First band you heard out of your parents' collection that you thought, that's my band. That's
different.
That's my jam. I gravitate towards that.
There's multiple places I could pinpoint, right? I think everyone has that. Even as you get older, you're still finding new bands all the time. But like the really formative years, when I was learning guitar, when I was 14, it was Zeppelin. Like, it was 100% Led Zeppelin. I remember hearing, I think it was The Ocean was the song, and I was like, this is really cool. So, you hear the Stairways and things on the radio, but it's when I started hearing other ones. I was your classic teenager obsessed with Zeppelin kind of thing. So,
as a guitarist, is it more the melody, the chord structure, or the riff for you?
Wow. I mean, again, that's going to depend on who you're listening to and different things will stand out about different bands and artists. Like when it came to Zeppelin, I think it was always the high flying stuff, right? That really stood out to me, and it's, kind of sloppy playing or whatever. But I thought that was kind of cool, and that it didn't always have to be so precise. But now, as I've gotten older, I almost appreciate the rhythm more, and that's what I play more. It's those intricate things that really drive a song that you're not always paying attention to, but if you got rid of it, you realize just how important it is. So. Yeah,
it's funny.
Balanceful.
Funny you mentioned that. I was just flipping through YouTube yesterday, and I don't know if you know this, but they have ISOs of just bass and drums of Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's, and I think Revolver came up, but it was just the vocal.
Okay.
But I went down the Sgt. Pepper bass and drums rabbit hole because I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind. It just amazed me. And you take that foundation away.
Yeah.
They add all these extra little, extravagant touches to the Beatles stuff. Obviously, how many tracks would have they used for Sgt. Pepper's?
Well,
but when you listen to just the bass and drums, it's something to behold.
I remember there's that McCartney 3-2-1 where Rick Rubin sits down with Paul McCartney and they listen to same. I'm just echoing what you're saying. Listening to solo tracks of those bands is really eye-opening.
I have to watch that whole thing now because I've just seen snippets of it.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me.
Worth it.
Mike, let's get back to bands. So you start the guitar around 13, 14. You take formal lessons in and around that time.
Yep.
Which is going back, 10 years?
Well, yeah, roughly-ish, sort of, about there.
15, 20 maybe?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're at that point as a musician, and you're just kind of growing, you're learning, evolving. You probably got into a band when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first band?
Yeah, so it was your classic buddies out on the shed at the bass player's farm, and for whatever reason called ourselves the Descendants. I don't know why that happened. It was one of those, you know the process of trying to come up with a band name.
Yes.
And so yeah.
And then, good evening, we're the Descendants. And then some guy from the crowd shouts, "Where are you from?"
Yeah. And we had one gig ever, and it was in Melita. When there's probably only video on someone's home camera about it. That would be it. But it was really fun, and that's where you're learning, but also the friendship part of it, right?
So Melita on a farm was your first gig. What was your first set like? Or is that digging too deep?
It's maybe digging too deep. Life was an autopilot in those days a lot, and I don't remember. The one cover I really do remember was we played "My Friends Over You" by Newfound Glory. So that's the kind of era that we're talking about, and that's a good one to go back and listen to if you listen to that kind of stuff in the early 2000s. So
yes, if you only had a time machine.
So, yeah.
Let's talk about songs between the ones that you've written, the ones you've composed as of late, and ones you've covered over the years. Obviously, you probably know more cover songs than originals at this point. Add them all together. How many? How thick is the songbook?
I mean,
are we 2 digits, 3 digits? What are we?
I would say really close to where you tick over to 3 digits, probably.
Okay.
And I mean, again, when you're including the universe of covers and what we do in a band we're in together, that'll maybe come up later, I'm sure.
We're going to come up, I got questions about those guys later.
So obviously, I don't sing lead vocal on all of them, but I can play along to all of them, right? So I was in a blues duo for a while as well. I've just done a lot of projects here and there. I would say, it's around that, like very low triple-digit ballpark, probably, if I had to guess. Yeah.
Okay, so you did a recording project in Winnipeg. That was earlier this year.
Yes.
Right? Let's talk a little bit about that, and then I want to get into some live performance here, because that's what Triple M is all about. We like to include some live off-the-floor stuff here in the WCG Studios, and Mike's going to get into that. But let's preclude that by just paint the picture of that experience, because that was that studio. I remember shortly after you were just walking on air after you recorded your stuff.
It was an incredible process, something I've always wanted to do. You hear about the studio and going into the studio, and so I just wanted to do that. Like, that's all it was, right? There wasn't this, I need to, and it has to be this exact way. I was like, let's just see what this is all about. And I'm still very early into the solo side and singer-songwriting, so I kind of wanted to soak up some knowledge as well, to be honest, right? How does this process process work? What are things I could do or should do? And it was called the No Fun Club in Winnipeg, and I just found them online. I liked the look that they had, all of the gear and everything that they had seemed just very accommodating for what I wanted. I booked the studio for the entire day, and I recorded 2 songs in early January there. So I spent one day, basically half the day was one song, and the next half was the other song. And it was, the only thing was maybe my own fault, is it was a bit of a lonely process. Like, I went just on my own, right?
Okay.
And because I was like, if I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want to rope other people into this process.
Right.
Yet. So
maybe the next time you go to record stuff.
Exactly.
It's weird when you're playing in a band situation for all those years, and then it's like, oh, I'm all by myself now.
Yeah, exactly.
This is new.
Surrounded by people. Yeah. So that was the one thing, and you see those stories where people in the studio and they got their posse with them or whatever, you know, like you've got your fellow musicians. So it was kind of weird missing that element. But again, that's nothing of the studio's fault. That's just kind of, yeah.
Hey, it's the way you went into it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you came out the other side with 2 great songs, and you're going to play one right now. Can you give us the best Mike Lamb radio intro on the song, or do you just want to lay back and
Sure.
just do it organically and say, you know what, I'm going to play a song for you because the stage is now yours?
Well, thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to play a song. This is called When You Are. This actually in the studio was recorded with an electric guitar, but we're going to do an acoustic version here today. Kind of paints the lyrics a little bit more. And yeah, this song, I like to leave interpretations up to the individual, but the one note I will add to it is that it's at its core about being on the same page as someone in a relationship. That's kind of at its core.
Perfect. Mike Lamb, When You Are, live off the floor here in the WCG Studios on Manitoba Music Makers.
Can I start again? Sorry, I kind of didn't hit that the way I wanted. All right. In 3, 2, 1. The day's long and these feet are tired from the window I admit I admire. Anywhere but here, anywhere but there, and tell myself that I just don't care. That lady screaming, yelling away, heaven knows what she's even trying to say. So grab the keys and start the car. I'm ready to go when you are. I'm ready to go when you are. Cigarettes and booze, a few snacks on the table. I'd up and leave if I was able. How can it be a broken home when just out front there's a smiling gnome? When just out front there's a smiling gnome. The fires rage, the people too, but somehow I know that we'll make it through. So please take this and don't go far. I'm happy to be when you are. I'm happy to be when you are. I'm ready to go when you are.
All right. Ready to go when you are.
Yeah.
That's a cool melody, sticks with you.
Thank you.
It's going to be an earworm of mine, probably for the next day or so.
Right? Yeah, it happens to me too, man.
Where did that come from? I mean, we talk about inspirations when we hear other artists, and sometimes, you know, you hear songs from artists that it's pretty obvious. Oh yeah, there's Upland fans, or oh, those guys really love Queen, or this guy's a big roots fan. It's got a folk tinge to it, got a roots foundation to that song. I'm hearing like almost like a Lumineers, almost sort of that kind of folk background. Where did that come from? Is that just, because we're like conduits for our inspirations, right? Especially musically.
Yeah.
So that had to come from somewhere.
I try to narrow it down as best I can, and it's tough, right? Because the real answer is everything I've consumed in my lifetime, but that's too vague.
In 3 minutes and 22 seconds.
So lyrically, nothing specific about this, but I actually was sitting at the Tom Cochran show at the WMCA, and there's lots of just thoughts going through my mind of, man, what a wonderful Manitoba songwriter.
Yes.
Lyrically.
Totally.
Everything, obviously, but especially lyrically, the Howard Manshine was there, radio legend out of Winnipeg. And I heard him, he introed Tom that night, and he referred to him as the poet of the prairies. And I just really liked that, and I was like, it kind of inspired me, I guess, to sit down and write more lyrics, I guess. So that would be where a lyrical element would come from. And I was at the show with my wife, and so the song is about, again, being on the same page as someone when you're at an event or whatever. Have you ever had that moment? It's like you nudge in the hey, I'm ready to go when you are. Like that nice way of saying. So that's a little bit of it as well. And then musically, I would say, actually maybe the band, oddly enough. Kind of just some elements of their music. Hard to pinpoint an exact song or things like that. Maybe it makes no difference, but I don't know. I would say the band.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on that. I'm all over the board when it comes to influences. It's good to keep things fresh and interesting, but you always go back to the tried and true stuff. Yeah. The stuff that pulled you into the music sphere of life, as it were, right?
Sure.
Okay, I get that. I appreciate the band thing. Talk about bands you've been in over the years. Like you mentioned it a little bit in the last segment about you were in the blues duo. You were in the band when you were teenagers playing back in Melita. Now what's going on with Michael Ann?
So blues duo were really kicked off in 2013 for me locally, musically in Brandon, like performing at bars, pubs, whatever. And then in 2016, a little band called Track Shuffle.
Hey-o.
Plug in there. Frank and I are in a band together.
Hey,
and it's
how about
awesome.
that? 8 years now.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? As I sit here, have you to largely thank for that. You reached out to me and said, hey, putting this crew together, do you want to stop by, kind of thing. So I'll say even a thank you as I sit here, Franco, for that.
You're very welcome.
It's been a great
worked out
run.
well.
Yeah, 8 years. 8-track shuffle is just what I look forward to musically, as far as connecting with other people these days, right? We get together once a week and we have our jams and we play classic rock and country covers. It's weird for me telling you this. Like I'm telling this to the listener. Frank knows.
Educate the people. I'll let you be the spokesperson.
I'm just telling you the stuff you know already. We play classic rock and country covers, and we play a lot of local events, corporate events, private events, small town fairs and things like that. And it is an absolute blast. We'll be there for an evening. There's nothing like live music. It's just better than smartphone through a cord through a speaker. So.
You are correct, sir. We did, what was the last year? 15 bookings?
Yeah, 15 or 16, I think.
Which, coming out of, a year or two post-COVID, there wasn't much going on, but we did even a few shows in that period. This year, it's turning out to be busier than we expected. The phone keeps ringing, which is a beautiful thing. Couple of highlight gigs coming up. I think our first one's June 22nd.
Boys of Vain Fair we're going to play.
Boys of Vain Fair.
Back at the Sandhills Casino in the summer, and we, it's again, I'm trying to remember and look at the list and calendar.
White Mud Festival in August.
We've got the Deloraine Fair. We're going to be in Deloraine as well.
Fair,
looking forward to that. So.
Jeez, I'm glad you remembered. You're remembering all of these.
I try.
Yeah, okay. So we've got a busy summer coming up. And we're adding new songs to the song list. So 8-Track Shuffle does have a Facebook page. If you want to go there, check it out. Give us a follow. Give us a like if you can.
Yeah.
If you like it. I hope, and I hope you do. Or come out to see a show.
Exactly.
Too, because we'll be playing in and around Brandon and Westman.
You know it.
Favorite thing about playing live shows, Mike? What's your favorite thing? You're
question.
up there, you got your guitar on, you got the microphone, the crowd's there.
Yeah.
Is it just the whole vibe of it all?
Yeah, I hate how vague that is, but
It's
really
kind of vague.
it really is. Like, it's it's the I think it's the energy. Like one of my favorite moments is when you start a song, you play a song, and one person or a couple or whatever gets up out of their chair and walks to the dance floor. I almost love that moment more than when they're on the dance floor. It's like, I just really think about that. It's like, what have you done here? It's like, you have inspired someone. You've hit them in such a way that they have reacted and said, okay, I am going to express myself through dance. I don't know. I think it's just a cool thing. And again, it's just really rewarding seeing that when you, like, that's why you're there.
For
right?
me, what's even more rewarding is if it's just one person and he or she is doing interpretive dance to our music.
That's right. Really gets, there's some crazy stuff that goes
Because you can do a two-step, a polka, you can do all that stuff, but when it's just off the cuff, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just
it's
on their
more
own.
fun that way.
Yeah.
From a drummer standpoint, I get you.
Yeah.
Because if the time's not happening, they're not dancing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is a very cool feeling, too.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Guys in the studio, I think it's picture time now. Or should we do another live song? Let's do another live song.
Okay.
And I hate to put you on the spot, but you do have your guitar there. So I would imagine you're ready to give us another song. So before we get into picture time and wrap up our very entertaining segment of Manitoba Music Makers with Mr. Mike Lamb, we'll have another song.
Sure, let's do it.
And what's it all about?
Tee it up here. So this is actually the first song that started this whole solo journey here. It is called Stupid Green. It is definitely more into the folk singer-songwriter category. And again, we'll leave the conversation for it afterwards. I'll let you just interpret it and enjoy it for yourself. So this is called Stupid Green, this next one.
Excellent. Mike Lamb on Manitoba Music Makers with Stupid Green. Check it out.
The skies are painful clear. The water's an ugly blue. The trees are stupid green. I guess I just kinda miss you. We shared a lot of time. Discussed our fates and fears. I know you're gonna miss me when I'm gone, but will you miss me while I'm here? I can't see anymore, so pour me another drink. Used to get excited by the fact your toothbrush was by the sink. Maybe it was wrong. Maybe it was true. Maybe I just never should have made a stranger out of you. one more for the road. Please, before you go, the last time that you'll see somebody's face, well, you never really know. The skies are painful clear. The water is an ugly blue. The trees are stupid green. I guess I just kinda miss you.
All right, Stupid Green. I like that one. You're right about the very folky sounding of it.
Yeah.
It does hold a lot of weight and emotion in that song. I can see the story as you're singing the lyrics.
Thanks.
It's obviously about a relationship.
It can be what you want it to be about. That's what I like about music.
Okay.
Again, I try to be careful because it's a balancing act. I want to talk about it, but that's what I like about music.
Okay.
Is you're going to hear it and interpret something. The next person's going to hear something different. I'm going to hear something different. I like that. I think the general kind of blanket over it is about missing someone, right? That could be a relationship, and that's kind of touched on in there. It could be other things, right? So that's where I'd stay with that. The one thing, the one picture I've never painted or really told anyone that I guess I will for that is the whole, the sky's a painful blue, the sky's a painful clear, water is an ugly blue, the tree's a stupid green. What I was trying to get at there is when there's nothing wrong and it's a beautiful day or moment, but you want to be angry or something's really bothering you. If you ever had that experience, that's kind of what that speaks to and touches to. So yeah, that's all I'll say.
So a contrasting feeling there. I gotcha.
Yeah.
What is your, well, first of all, are those songs on Spotify?
Yeah, so wherever you get your music, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all of the streaming sites, everything's on there if you want to go and listen. That always helps, of course. Appreciate it. So go and check it out in this day and age. Wherever you go with your technology to get music, chances are you'll be able to find it. So, yeah.
You pull this device out, you search Mike Lamb, Spotify or wherever, and you download those songs. It's I just simplified it.
Or you listen to the Spark Web Radio. I'll help you out here, Frank.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Franco's,
Actually, we put Stupid Green on right out of the box. When You Are is still in rotation.
Yeah.
And
I really appreciate that about you, Frank. You really care about local music, and it really shows, and it's like always continuing ever since I've known you. So
it comes with the hobby.
Yeah.
And totally. I love it, and it's a labor of love, and therefore it's really not work.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Let's talk about songs you play live, cover or original. Mike, what's your favorite one? Let's maybe one of each.
Okay, sure. Let's start with the original because we are kind of in the scope of it here. I do like playing Stupid Green. It's really pulled a special place for me, that one. So I really like playing that one. Cover, that's tough because there's way more covers than original. So I did kind of port this over from the blues duo I was in, blues rock. We were called Balloons for a Million, and we would play No Matter What by Badfinger.
Okay.
So we play an 8-track as well. I just love that song. I think it's an awesome jam. That's one of my favorites to play live. So I'd say No Matter What by Badfinger, oddly enough. Yeah.
No matter what. No matter what you...
Yeah, so catchy.
Very catchy ditty. I like that one. Let's flip the script and bands you've seen live. And when you see a band live, that whether you like them, you've never heard of them, or they're one of your favorites, you can almost tell which songs they prefer playing live and their favorites are to play live. But what are the bands you've seen recently?
Recently, saw the Sheepdogs when they came through town, which is cool.
It's a good show.
Seen that at the WMCA. I've seen them a few times there. The Tom Cochran one that I mentioned there at the WMCA as well. Last year, I was so fortunate, lucky, whatever you want to call it, bucket list moment to see Bruce Springsteen.
Where'd you see Bruce Springsteen?
In St. Paul, Minneapolis, St. Paul in the Twin Cities. Okay. And that's one of my wife's favorite artists. And actually through and because of hers, when I really started to gain the love and appreciation, is one of those artists where when I was like younger, 16, 17, I didn't really get it. Yeah. But then, you know, things change, tastes change, and I was like obsessed, you know, and I kind of still am right now, to be honest. So Bruce was a big one.
As we age, we get a little more refined with our musical taste, and you're right. There's a point in time in everyone's life where they go, now I get it. Now I understand why I didn't like him when I was a teenager. Yeah. I love him now. Yeah, so exactly. It just comes kind of with the musical territory as we go across it over the years.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about a couple fun questions. One is that I like asking people on Triple M is, give me the 3 desert island albums.
Oh, no.
If you could not listen to any other albums, just 3, you're stuck on you're Tom Hanks in it with the volleyball out there in the middle of the Pacific somewhere, all by yourself. But you got a record player and you have 3 albums you can have. What would they be? I try to elongate that question so you can think about it a bit more, because I know we haven't talked about this beforehand. I hate putting people on the spot,
you're good.
But I like the spontaneity of this, so lay them out.
I would go with ELO's Discovery.
Okay.
Because I have a story about it.
Good.
When you're talking about the parents' record collection, right? That was the one.
Is that Mom's or Dad's album?
This was Mom's album, actually, Yellow. Yeah. I pulled it out of the box, and I felt like the album cover because he's like looking at that thing or whatever.
Magic orb?
Yeah, or whatever, And so
whatever, he's got crystal ball, maybe?
I would place it on the record player, and I would look for Don't Bring Me Down, because Don't Bring Me Down is on it. Yeah. But I was a kid, and I didn't grow up with vinyl, so I would always be so terrible at it. And I'd always catch the last 30 seconds of the song Wishin', which was never a big hit at all, very much deep cut B-side, but I just love Wishin'. It's really simple. There's nothing like outstanding about it, but that's a memory I have of that one. So we go that one. I would choose Random Access Memories by Daft Punk, oddly enough. 2013. A little left field here.
I like going from the one field to the other. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's really cool. Yeah. I could nerd out about it for an hour, but I won't. And then third one that I would choose, wow. Oh, boy, I only get one more.
I bet you I could call it.
Oh, what would you say?
It's got to be one of the albums from the band, maybe music from Big Pink, something like that.
Yeah, you know what? It would be Nashville Skyline by Bob Dylan.
Oh,
because it covers the folk stuff that I like, and it also gives me some country in there because it was like Dylan's country album. I love Nashville Skyline.
There you are.
Yeah.
Excellent. And going back to ELO's Don't Bring Me Down, I mean, you talk about one that slaps. I mean, Bevan's backbeat on that is just...
Right? Just
boom.
One of the better drum intros of all time. Hey? Yeah. If you had a top 20 drum intros, that would
It's just straight ahead, kick you in the teeth. Anyway, so for lack of a better way to put that across, I wanted it to be impactful.
That's right.
Because that's one of the songs we used to cover.
Don't Bring Me Down.
In 8-track shuffle.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago, I think it was.
You quickly learn how tough it is to cover ELO stuff.
You do.
Jeff Lynne's producing.
Okay, can we get 18 more vocals on this?
Yeah, exactly.
So 8-track shuffle is going. We got a busy schedule coming up, folks. If you want to go out and see Mike with that band, you can. But let's backtrack a bit. You have done a show or two just as a solo artist. Tell us quickly about that. And
sure.
Yeah, and then we'll have to wrap because this time is flying by, but that's a good thing.
That's been fun chat, Frank. So I've actually just done one solo show so far. It was at Shea Angela. Huge shout outs to them.
Actually, surprise! We're gonna roll some photos now, Mike. Okay. You weren't expecting this.
Ooh,
I like to tie this in when I can. Because, there's a thing called Facebook, and people like you put their pictures up there, and it's public domain. So we're going to have We're going to have photo time now. Colin, can you pull some of those up just randomly? And Mike, well, there's the first one. You tell us, who are those?
This is 8-track shuffle.
Those crazy looking dudes.
You'll notice Franco right beside me in that picture there.
And where were we playing?
So you can see on the banner, the Sand Hills Casino.
Left to right, Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey Schoonbert. And then Morgan Ashcroft, myself, Hugh Franco, and then Carrie Clark, the fabulous, fantastic five.
Creedy. Yes.
Creedy, as we call them.
All right. Next. There's a picture. You're kind of kicking back. It looks like we're in a rink.
I think that's Roblin's Arena.
Roblin Arena.
Or Shoal Lake. My memory is foggy. It's one
Could
of those.
be. Oh, I think it might have been one of those. One of those two.
Somewhere.
It was northwest
somewhere
of
northwest
here.
of here.
It looks like you got some room for another couple guitars.
Another couple
there.
guitars.
Yeah.
Not,
Next pick there, Colin.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Now this looks like a completely different setting. Was this the Winnipeg studio?
This is No Fun Club, yeah. So that is, they have two main studios there. Studio, I forget. Studio B, I mean, it's either A or B. But yeah, a really incredible space. And that's just a small chunk of it there. But if you ever get the chance to go or see it, it's really cool.
Nice. Yeah. Next. Oh, hey, who are those two happy campers?
Same thing, one of our favorite spots, Sand Hills Casino. That is Morgan. We are the two rhythm guitarists in the band, and for the more the country stuff or different texture, pull out the acoustic there too sometimes. Yeah.
Awesome. Back to the Winnipeg studio.
No Fun Club, yeah.
So No Fun Club. Okay.
This same studio had like 3 separate rooms. So like this looks like a different studio, but it's technically the same one. If you go through that sliding door there that you can see in the back, that's where you get to that other picture we saw.
It looks like you could like teleportal to another dimension. That's a cool looking
funky
door
mosaic. Yeah,
very funky. Next up, well, that's the same spot.
Thing.
Just you got the lead going there.
That's right. Yep, the old Strat. Yep.
Nice. You look like you've just found your happy place.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, that's where you want to be, right?
Yeah. And one thing I've noticed is there's a theme in all these pictures. You're going for the Johnny Cash look. It's like the man in black.
Yeah, there's something about, you just see lots of musicians like wearing black, and so I'm like, well, I'll just do that. And then I try and wear other stuff. It's like, it doesn't look right.
What, go all black. It makes laundry day that much easier.
Exactly, right? We're the same 3 things all the time.
Do we have any more in the? Oh, we do. Well, now was this the solo gig?
Yeah. So this was the Shea Angela gig there. They have great free Music Friday thing happening, which is a great place to go if you are a citizen, or a great place to play if you're a musician. It's one of those win-win kind of things. They try to have live music on Fridays.
It's downtown Brandon.
Yeah.
There's another one. Now,
there we go.
What happened there? Did you get? Looks like that's a high note, maybe.
I thought you were going to say I got so raucous that I knocked the lampshade off the lamp. I got smashed the guitar.
Someone in the audience is wearing that right now.
No, yeah, cool.
Well, thanks for indulging me by sharing picture time. I like it's a whole new segment I'm trying to work into Manitoba Music Makers, and I think it worked out really, really well there.
It's fun.
Thanks again for your time, sir.
Thank you, Franco.
It's a whole lot of fun.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you at the next practice.
Yeah.
So Manitoba Music Makers shines the spotlight on artists much like Mr. Mike Lamb here to my left, your right. And by the way, if you're in a band that wants a little more extra exposure, a little bit more promo, hey, come on the show. Get in touch with us with this email here on the bottom of your screen. If there's room on the schedule, we'll get you in here performing live on the WCG stage. And you can tell all your friends to tune in, or you can watch later on the Sparks YouTube channel, or WCG has a website that puts old episodes on there as well, so you won't miss a thing with Manitoba Music Makers. Until next time, I'm your host, Frank McGuire. Take care and hope we'll see you again sometime soon.